5 years after flirting with economic disaster, Portugal is somewhat back on the comeback trail. It did take a concerted effort from the international community. Besides the European Union, China was among the countries that extended a helping hand. CCTV's Dan William reports.
The scars of Portugal's financial crisis are still clear to see. But slowly, the country is returning to a firmer financial footing. Last year, Portugal enjoyed growth of 1.5%, a figure that is expected to be topped this year. Part of that upturn is due to Chinese investment that accounted for 45% of the 9.2 billion the country raised from state sell-offs over the last 3 years.
I mean, the direct investment we've been having from China recently has been very targeted in terms of these industries where it came to, and it was very, very specific in regards to the companies that they chose to invest. So we had Chinese investment in utility companies. We also had Chinese investment into investment banks here in Portugal. And Portugal was a very interesting entry point for China into Europe because all in all, you know, Europe is a 500 million consumer market, and that for China is extremely important.
Last year, Portugal received more China investment than any EU member state, other than the UK, Germany and France. Although the country accounts for just 1.3% of the EU economy, Sergio Martins Alves of the Portugal-Chinese Chamber of Commerce believes Portugal has many attractive elements.
The assets became cheaper. The security of the region was still guaranteed. This is the European Union still. It's a secure area to invest. Here in Portugal and Spain is cheaper and with an added value and an advantage that some other European countries don't have, that when you buy an asset here, you get an asset, you get assets in the South Atlantic region, in Brazil or in Angola. Even if you don't get assets there through the acquisitions here, you get market shares.
But it's not just the utilities and the major infrastructure projects that has interested China investors. A more diverse bilateral trade portfolio has also developed, and that's expected to grow further in the coming years. Montenovo Figueirina Wine made the decision to appeal to the China market a few years ago, rebranding their products to make them more attractive to Chinese consumers.
In our region, we are a lot of wines, and what happens? We need to spend our wines out for the country. So in this moment in the China market, we have good wines, and we try to put our wines in China market, and it's very good. So I can tell you, in 2 years we grow more 50% our sellers, and it's a very, very good market.
Given the recent investments, the outlook for China-Portugal trade looks set to continue, with the possibility of direct flights between the two countries now on the cards.
And what we've noticed recently is in tourism a massive increase in Chinese tourism. Portugal started attracting a lot of Chinese tourists, and again, that just makes the linkage much bigger between the two countries, and I think it will become a snowball effect very soon.
Portugal still faces many hurdles as it emerges from the financial crisis. But Chinese capital is now giving Portuguese companies the muscle it needs to expand and succeed overseas. Dan Williams, CCTV, Lisbon.